my soda, cause I told you I'm colder than hell. I ain't buying what you sell, it don't ring my bell. Unless it's got the smell, you know. Like grape pape, we ain't talking vapes or the color of drapes, or a gorilla in a cape. It's the good shit, just one hit. You so lit, you fall into a bit, non-bit. What's fucking funny is you're a monkey, a high school flunky. Hero and junkie, obliteration of the carnation, with gross castration, skewed citations by your intimation. Get real, young man, there's only one stand. You can't stand a suntan, how you gonna live on the land? Obliteration of the carnation, with gross castration, in skewed citations by your intimations. I'm a truth in rotation, you're a cheap imitation. Dog said hums, 808s make the ground shake. Cold as the grave, every word's a land quake. You're a flicker in a cipher, I'm the flame that won't fade. Step into the night where the shadows are. What's fucking funny? Hero and junkie, I'm gonna clank another hit of this good shit, and I'm already it, so take over. It's been non-bid.
Thank you for joining us at Personality Inventory Mockumentary Productions.
And greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Want to remind everybody, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. There's a PayPal link down there for anybody who wants to share some love. Every little bit is appreciated. We are not a monetized channel. And we are open for an open discussion. You can come up and choose your topic. The StreamYard link is pinned down there. I want to thank everybody for joining. Captain Action, Jenny, we got Blaze the Bull, the Tribe, Oh It's Just M, anybody else, Ebony Music. So please feel free to hit the link and come up. And yes, we are in the new place and it's coming along great. Went around and took measurements of closets and walls and stuff for hanging brackets and clothing rods, and put some shelves up in the kitchen. So we're getting there, slow but sure. Got a dog lead I can put up tomorrow. So little by little, bit by bit, we're going to put an end to all this stressful shit. You know what I mean? And basically, it's okay if you disagree with me. I can't force you to be right. So when we come up, it's just our opinions. Don't try to force things on other people. First Amendment works both ways. Any topic you want to discuss is always open. I don't care what it is. We are not monetized, as I said, and I do not allow censorship, except for hate speech and stuff like that, which is generally one of those prerequisites. If you want to have a diplomatic etiquette in your discussions, you don't start using ad homs and ideologies against each other. So first thing, anybody down there doing anything with the silver market? Anybody in the silver market? Want to pull something up? Let's see here. Because I got my own silver. I'm not going to say how much or anything, but where is it? There we go. And I bought mine when it was $25 an ounce. And silver prices per ounce currently $77.82. That's for today. They're up $9.95. Yesterday they dropped down to $66.81, I think it was. And if you remember my discussions here on various different panels lately, I was telling people, and of course, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion, okay? And you can disagree with me all you want. I can't force you to be right. So I was stating it should drop down to around $65, and that would be the premium price to buy in. And of course, it dropped down to $66.81. So now it's up $10 almost already just today. And that can fluctuate in great degrees any given time. But I think what it's going to do now is just kind of steady out a little bit in its growth. But by the end of 2026, beginning of 2027, I imagine it's going to be up there ways. And I stated anywhere from like 2 to 225, 250. So that's what I would do, is hold on until then. Anything you purchase, I would hold on to then until then. And again, this is not financial advice. This is all a gamble. It's just like sitting down at a poker table. I lost all mine in a tragic boating accident, the tribe says. Lost all of his silver. Goodness gracious. Time to invest, brother. Minimum investment about $77, $78. Be good to get in now. Currently sawing logs, or he'd be here. Yeah, I saw he put on a stream earlier. Yeah, silver's going up, and we're going to take a look at the ratio to gold to silver and what that has to do with it. And of course, various different markets. We see China locking up natural minerals and stuff, so that can affect it and everything like that. So we're going to take a look at a few different things. Right. But you are valuing it by dollars, yes, and that's why we're going to take a look at the gold to silver ratio, because that's going to tell us how strong that U.S. dollar really is. Love you, Captain. Love you. My friend started a business building chimneys. His business is going through the roof. Hey, hard hat. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man. Sold all my silver bars when I bought my camper 4 years ago. I'm kicking myself. I stopped buying 10-ounce bars every paycheck since then. Jeez, brother, yes. And imagine if you'd have bought a 10-ounce bar every paycheck since then, the hundreds of ounces you would have. And like I said, if you held on to that until minimum end of 2026, and I could see holding it until 2030 and maybe pulling close to $400 or something like that. But I think the best option is when it hits about 225, 250. It might even hit a little bit higher. But yeah, it's hard to imagine sometimes those investments. And that's why we're looking at the spot price. And we're also going to take a look here in the short term here about the gold to silver ratio and what that has to do with the U.S. dollar and the rise in the silver. So let's see here. Let's go down and look at this chart. And we can see March 2025, it was 31.50. By October, it had gained $15. So it increased 50% there in just 5-6 months. Then it jumped in the next 4 months to 117.66. $117.81, and currently it's at the 77. Shows 79.07 right now. So if you don't get in now, it's going to be kind of tough to tell how much you might be able to make. So let's take a look. Current gold to silver ratio. So the current gold to silver ratio is 56.348, and its high is 61.192. So it's up 10.305. So let's see. Let's pull up in here, and we're just going to use Gemini here real quick. New chat. What does the gold to silver ratio do to the US dollar? The gold to silver ratio doesn't directly control the US dollar. Rather, it serves as a macroeconomic barometer. So when you watch the gold to silver ratio, it will tell you how strong or weak that US dollar is, like I said earlier. That often moves in sync with the dollar's strength. Because both gold and silver are priced in US dollar globally, the ratio and the dollar are deeply intertwined through investor sentiment and liquidity. And that's the whole thing, the liquidity. This is why we do the buying and selling. It's a liquid asset, a liquidity asset. An ounce of gold buys the same acreage today as it did 200 years ago. Yep. Gold is movable, not land. Gold is tier 1 asset. Silver is used in industry. Correct. Gold is also used in industry, but not quite as much. But again, that ratio that it's used in the industry it's one of those factors that because gold is what it is, when you use it in an industry, that particular use is more it increases the value because it's taking it out of the gold circulation. Same with silver. It's just that we seem to think that we have an insurmountable amount of silver yet to be mined. Not always. Not always. Of course, again, the gold that isn't recovered is, again, such a micro amount as according to the macro scale. But still, it's one of the most expensive things to waste. Let's see what else. The inverse relationship. Generally, the relationship between the US dollar and precious metals is inverse. Strong dollar. When the US dollar strengthens, gold and silver usually drop in price because they become more expensive for international buyers. This is what China's trying to do. They're actually trying to raise, that's why they're paying more for silver. They want to fill their vaults with silver so that when it comes down to it later on, when they know that price is going to be $225, $250, $300, $400 an ounce, they're buying in now for their industries 10, 20, 30 years from now. Okay? It's Same thing as the stock market, different time bracket because of the actual usage, the industrial usage, rather than the investment. So their industrial usage is the investment. Yes. I absolutely agree, Tribe. Tribe says the fact that price has gone hyperbolic demonstrates the baseless value of the fiat. It's merely a promise to pay. That's all it is. So it really truly does have that baseless value as a reserve note. And that's why I have to again impress upon people, the United States does not have a national currency. They've got national bonds and stuff, but it's not a national currency. It's just a representative value. Hard Hat says, I believe the BRICS countries are buying gold, silver to back their currencies for trade. U.S. petrodollars is GOI down, going down. Yep. Mexico has lots of silver. Yep. Yep. It's part of the inflationary tactics. Again, remember, China is buying a lot of the silver reserves because they know in 10, 20, 30 years, it's going to be inflated. Yes, the dollar is going down in value. As silver and gold prices go up, the dollar goes down in value. I had a gold tooth, Blaze the Bull says, but the tooth fairy robbed me in my sleep. Yes, dollar is a debt instrument. Gold is money. What is it? I have to remember. Oh, what is it? Some kind of. Oh, I'll have to pull it out of my stuff. I'm having a brain fart right now. Contracts payable in gold. Senate agreed on it. That's why you have to make the stipulations that you do on promissory notes and stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely. Read UCC 9-307. It says location of debtor. And then under H, it says the United States is located in Washington, D.C., noting that the United States is the debtor and where it's located. It's in Washington, D.C. So the debtor itself is not a special maritime territorial overlay. It is the source of that territorial overlay, which we are taught in school as the United States, including all the 50 states. No, the United States in this particular sense as a debtor is the entity located in Washington, D.C. Woodrow Wilson wanted to be president so bad he allowed the Federal Reserve to take over, yeah? Dollar relies on a Speech Act. This note is legal tender for all debts. Notice it says note. So what else is legal tender for all debts? Under the UCC, that would be a order. That's why the judge orders things in court. Let's see. Weak dollar. When the U.S. dollar weakens, these metals often surge as investors seek hard assets to protect against currency devaluation. See, when you have that hard asset, silver, and you bought it with U.S. dollars, and China is paying hefty prices for it, you can then turn around and immediately, if you buy big quantities, sell it to China for a profit. Interesting stuff, huh? Or you can hold it for a while, and later on, 10 years down the line, when China has to pay so much for an ounce, you're guaranteed a profit. That's what the hard assets are, guaranteed profits because of the inflations. How the ratio signals dollar strength. The GSR is a fear versus growth indicator because gold is a pure safe haven and silver has high industrial utility. Their relative performance tells us a lot about the dollar's environment. Ratio trend, what it signals for the US dollar and market sentiment. The ratio trend is rising ratio. Gold outperforms silver, strong and rising US dollar. Investors are fleeing to safety, gold, and liquidity, US dollar. This often happens during recessions or periods of high interest rates. So the following ratio is silver outperforms gold, which is what we're in now. Weak, failing US dollar indicates economic expansion or rising inflation, as I said. Investors take more risks. The dollar loses value while industrial silver gains. So again, what they're doing is the investors are actually investing in the silver now because they know 10 years from now it's going to be worth much more. I bought my silver 10 years ago for $25 an ounce. So even if I sell it today, I've still tripled my money. It's also a declaration of status, yes. And the functions attributed with that status. And that's the importance of understanding its asset value rather than its fiat value. Again, when you're doing these investments in the silver market, you're getting fiat value through paper certificates. You're getting something certified on your purchase. What happens if that system fails? You bought into silver, you paid into it, but nobody knows how to pay you back because nobody knows that you paid in because the system failed. See, that's the thing about the hard asset. I still hold my silver. I'm not holding a silver certificate. I'm holding the physical silver. It functions as an asset rather than some form of fiat currency, some fiat note. Key historical and modern correlations. And remember, folks, the link is down there if you want to come up. I'm willing to talk about anything. Open topic, open panel. While the relationship is usually inverse, there are nuances based on modern economic shifts. The safe haven sink, okay? And this is part of what the inflation thing is. It's a tactic by the bankers. In times of extreme global crisis, like the 2020 pandemic or the early 2025 volatility, both the US dollar and gold can rise together. In these cases, the ratio spikes, often above 80 to 1 or even 100 to 1, as everyone ditches silver and stocks for the safety of the dollar and gold. Remember, it's that pure asset. It doesn't get used in the industry near as much as silver. Silver is actually an industrial metal, not a jewelry type metal. It does get its jewelry. It does have a jewelry value, but it's significantly more used in industry. Monetary policy. And who do we have here? Ronan Sojourner, can you show me self? Just want to make sure we're not doing any kind of porn. Got it.
No, it's me. I'm shirtless, but it's hot here, so I'm not. What's up, Keith?
Good to see you again, brother. How you been, Eric?
Yeah, pretty good. Living life in paradise, pretty much.
Yeah. It's good to hear. Staying out of trouble?
Yeah, there's not much trouble to be had. We don't have road pirates or anything like that really around here.
So where you at now?
Kampot, Cambodia.
There you go. I know another guy I speak to regularly online that's over there. He likes it a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not perfect. It's not there's corruption, but nothing like what you guys have over there in the Five Eyes, especially the United States. It's beyond the pale. I have a lot of empathy for people there. Hey, tribe, what's up?
Yeah, he says the tribe says in 1960, 2 quarters, which were silver back then, bought a gallon of gas. Those quarters today buy 4 gallons of gas, because back then the quarters weren't worth near as much. So a silver quarter, being a quarter, was worth 25 cents in silver. Now that same 25 cents worth of silver is worth $4. So yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see here.
it's crazy.
Have you invested in any silver?
No, I'm looking in getting my dollars transferred out of dollars and getting arable land with a well, things like that here.
There you go.
I
And
got
that's
some decent health, and I think these, skills, tools, land. Hey, hard hat. Yeah, I heard that you were here. Been a while. Yeah, that's. I don't even know if I can get it here. Physical, and I've never bought into that whole gold or silver certificates. That's probably a big scheme. I don't know.
Well, it just depends on how you use it. Like I said, the investors can buy into the silver and hold the certificate, and then 10 years later cash it in, and either get the physical silver or the fiat. So
Allegedly.
right. And that's why I say, I hold the asset itself. I'm not holding a certificate that says I can trade it back in for the hard asset later on. I've actually got the hard asset.
Yeah, exactly. And if
Yeah, and that's something that you could actually trade for land, and people wouldn't have any problem with it.
Yeah.
Hard asset for our hard asset.
Yeah, and those kind of things, if the proverbial shit ever does hit the fan, I think we all know that the what we call road pirates today, they'll just be roving. They'll be the ones that are roving bandits, and they're keeping track of, hey, they're preppers up there. They got gallons of water and solar, and so I mean, nothing's guaranteed in this life.
Yes. Yeah, Shintai82 says if you're already planning on getting out of the dollar, which will weaken the dollar more, then buying more silver would be a good buy. Absolutely. Because again, we understand the dollar today, we don't really have a national currency. So the dollar today is still based on a fiat promise, and that is the Federal Reserve note. That's all we have here is a reserve currency. So a reserve note rather than an order, and an order is the closest you can get to the hard physical asset, because it's pretty much a demand. Whereas a note is a promise, and technically they can't really create debtors prisons, though that tends to be the way they try to operate it.
When you say yeah, I get what you're saying about doesn't have a national currency. To the best of your knowledge, is there any so-called nation state that actually has a national, like, what would you say China's RMB is, or the Japanese yen?
Actually, it's the renminbi, and it's, let me look it up.
Yeah, China, they say RMB or yuan, which is like Japanese yen. It's the same symbol, it's just pronounced the Chinese way, and then you have the Japanese yen, and then China's yuan.
Well, it's the renminbi is the official currency of China. So we have to talk about the currency, and then we can get into the term dollar. See, we have a reserve currency, which is a Federal Reserve note.
Well, it's funny because when you get a little speeding ticket or a bill and they put that dollar symbol, just go and ask the clerk of the court, do you mean Mexican pesos? Do you mean, and they're like, well, I would assume dollars. And I'm like, well, I don't operate on assumption. You got to make that clarified. So that symbol is used for what? You got Singapore, I think they use it, Mexican pesos. So China and Japan use the same, well, they don't use the dollar sign. It's like a Y with a couple lines.
Yeah. And Hard Hat's got another point here, is that Thailand uses only 95% pure gold. So, the ratios in gold purity are different here and there too. So
yeah, the Asians over here, even Cambodia is a relatively poor country. I hate using that term, but They always get hard. I mean, even the poorest rice farmers got gold necklaces and stuff. So, I mean, Asians, I mean, you go to Chinatown and how many gold stores you see the Chinese selling all over in
Well, yeah,
Chinatown.
they tend to have a more of a cultural value, which is like national heritage. A lot of heirlooms that are passed down and stay within the family. Whereas here we had, the gold was withdrawn and people were duped by it and handed over all their gold. Not everybody, of course there's still some good heirlooms around, but most people were duped and thought they had to hand in all that gold and shit.
Well, they threatened them, didn't they, with jail and things like that?
Yeah, yeah. It said it was a national mandate, just like
Okay.
just like the mask mandates and stuff.
Yeah. Monopoly on violence. That's all it is.
Yep, I read about that. Shintai 82 says the Japanese yen was failing, and the U.S. just rate checked them to save the currency. If you're getting away from that dollar, that is not the currency to choose. Correct. Yep, and again, this is one of the reasons why I tell you to think about the words that we're using. They do have meaning, and they come from different origins. And Tribe's absolutely correct. Currency comes from currency, the current coin of the realm.
Uh-huh. Indeed.
So that's the true money, is the coinage. The paper is a note or an order. It means it's
Yep.
not physical. It's in that realm of certifying. So let's take a look at the rest of this. It says monetary policy. If the Federal Reserve signals higher for longer interest rates, as seen in recent 2026 market signals, this is why I say higher for longer, those interest rates, that's the inflation. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, my research, if you got physical asset silver and you're going to hold it at least, or even those certificates, at least until the end of 2026, because it's set for a high long gain, slow but sure over time. And it says the US dollar often surges. This typically puts downward pressure on both metals, but silver, being more volatile, often falls faster, causing the ratio to climb. Okay, so what's going to happen after 2026, the end of 2026, is it's going to hit that high and it should drop. And again, this is not financial advice, guys. This is just my opinion from what I've seen over the years. Then it says the Six Sigma decoupling. Recent market events in early 2026 have shown rare instances where the ratio compressed violently despite a strong dollar. This happened because silver's industrial demand for AI and solar infrastructure. See, this is what China's doing. It's pulling in all this silver and saying that it's got to have this silver for this AI and solar infrastructure. They're the ones using this AI and solar infrastructure as their main connectivity. No other country's doing that. Yeah, we got solar panels going up. Yeah, we've got AI coming in, but it's not as an infrastructure. The home. This is total Jetson stuff.
Yeah, China. Sometimes I think of going back to China. I mean, if we're surrounded by these nation states, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Well, it's a status thing think about it. The infrastructure is set up for AI and solar, and that's all industrial corporate shit. So it's still a corporate oligarchy of some sort, or fascism.
Yeah.
And it says this happened because silver's industrial demand overrode its traditional role as a currency hedge. So I say the gold is the currency hedge because it's a pure asset. Its base purpose is a value for the rest of the currencies around the world, whereas silver can be related to it in a commercial value. It's got a strong industrial demand rather than a currency demand. Note, historically, a very high ratio above 80 has often preceded a period where silver catches up, which frequently aligns with a peak in the US dollar index before it starts to cool off. So that's what we're looking for, is that peak. When that ratio starts hitting that 80, it's going to go back up. That's when you sell your silver. Does that make sense? Let's see here. Oh, it's just M says we'll be a non-monetary economy with the right versus wrong people atop our government. Yeah, and see, that's what we've got to get into line here. It doesn't matter what the gold and silver and all that is. If you want your power, your authority, you have to understand your position in this government, and your position in this government is relative to that monetary system. So you have to learn that monetary system and how it works, so that when they try to come tag you for taxes, you say, I'm sorry, but my understanding under this code is voluntary. And the language says that it's agreement between myself and the employer, not myself, the employer, and the IRS. Because the IRS might have an agreement with the employer, but that doesn't automatically extend to me. Because I'm only making an agreement with the employer as a common law right of contract, maintaining privity of the two contracting parties without third-party intercession. Yep, they started with the coin. AI is a bubble, yes. I call it a loop. It's a feedback loop. If you understand what artificial intelligence is, you'll understand it isn't artificial intelligence. It's your intellect being fed into a system, and if you feed it shit, it's going to give you shit back.
Yeah, I got it to admit that it's basically a rebranding or a usurpation of what we call the ether. All this stuff, this cloud computing, this AI, it's just the ether. And that's pretty criminal that they hid it and now they're bringing it back rebranded.
Yep. Tribe says gold is a store of value. Yep, because it's that hard asset. Its main purpose is value as the measure for the entire value system around the world. So
if you look,
it sets its value and maintains it. It stores it up like a capacitor. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. Go ahead.
Yeah, and if you look at the Roman system, which you're still pretty much under these days, I don't care what they're calling it, communist democracy. Who were the proletariats were basically the landowners, right?
Yeah.
And they're stored value. So, and then people that weren't landowners were the slaves, the serfs, the peasants, the citizens, the civilians. But yeah, I mean, the land, that's the main value. Once you own land, means of production, the water, access to water, that's the primo thing if you can hold on to it. Gold was the stored value, and then silver was their coinage. And then what they would do to their house servants, they actually had credit back then. They had letters of credit, and you would go to the market, your house boy. And so, everyone's like, it's funny, like get your credit store up. Okay, you're still a slave.
Yep.
And
landowning. If you understand, let me point something out to you guys. The world is upside down and backwards. And for a long time, I've questioned something about this credit score. Well, if there's a credit score, then what about the debt score?
Yeah.
There's always got to be an equal and opposing force to balance things out. So when you think of a ledger, you've got a credit and a debit. I want to know that debit score. If the credit score is 600, then shouldn't the debit score be 400?
Yeah, they hide that, but like I said a million times,
to show that there's a balance.
Yeah, go to Walmart, go to the checkout, use the credit card, not your debit card or your bank card, an actual so-called American Express credit card. That receipt will print out and it'll say U.S. debit. Don't say credit.
Yep,
it's right there.
I've got stacks of them in my file cabinet behind me, folks. And he's absolutely right. I've been saving those up for how many years there, Eric? I've been saving those receipts up because they say U.S. debit. That is absolute evidence. Like I said, UCC 9-307 says the U.S. is the debtor. And I've got a receipt that says it's a U.S. debit. Even though I used a credit card with the name Keith Little on it, all upper caps.
Yep. It doesn't say the issuing financial institution. It doesn't say
Nope.
Visa. It doesn't say MasterCard. It doesn't say Amex. It doesn't say Bank of America. It says U.S. debit.
Correct, Tribe. And that's the paradox of money. There is no such negative or anti-money. So we have to understand that credit score. If you got a credit score of 600, it's your score. That means it's your credit. You're not getting that credit from someone else. It's your credit.
And where does it come? By being a owner, sorry. And by the way, I just don't mean physical soil, but hey, my body's my land. My vessel's my land.
Did you guys know you're animals? By their definition, you're an animal. Okay?
Monsters as well, creatures.
And the man is merely a legal definition. It's for legal purposes. When they refer to man, they're referring to legal purposes. And in that, there's certain sections like 7 U.S.C. 136 where they define animal and it includes man. And then there's others, subcategories of 136, that they describe man as that biological entity that is actually protected. So when a man and his environment are biologically protected, that means that plot of land that he has cannot be regulated. And one of the first things they do in those sales of land is that they condemn the land of its natural use for its commercial purpose. This is how people are duped into paying property taxes, because the record shows that they're using it for commercial purposes rather than for their own environmental use as a man in his natural state of being. They can't regulate animals in their natural state of being. They even have laws on biology and microorganisms and stuff and pesticides and germicides and all of this that say what they can and can't do. And every last one of it is a matter of protecting the environment. This is why we have those easements. Those are actually environmental easements. So that if you go and run water lines and sewage lines and electric cables and gas lines and fuel lines, you have to do it so you're not destroying the environment, even though they condemned it of its natural use.
Yeah, this whole thing where people do these legal documents. I'm a man and all that. Oh, I mean, I get that. But are you the true the I am? That's that spark of that life. I'm not. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just. Yeah, I'm a man. I got a penis. I guess that's called male. Allegedly white.
Yeah.
But I don't accept those things. That's another thing. All these people that this white genocide, like, I try to explain to people, do your etymology. This white, black, African American, that shit's made up. That's all legalese. They color coded you. American Indian. What the heck is that? Think about that one. Okay, it wasn't America.
Well, one of the astounding things I thought of when I was younger, they told me about these reservations. And then shortly after, I learned about the concentration camps. And I thought, God damn, they're about the same damn thing.
Yeah.
So, really think about this stuff, folks. And Tribe says, man is distinguished from animals by his symbolic use of language. Yes. Even body language, sign language, they're all symbolic uses of language. And Hard Hat says, this is an interesting one. Says, had buddies buying into shit coins back 4 years ago, laughing at me buying silver. Told them recently, how's those stocks going now compared to metals? Lots of laughs. Most of them are now worthless. Bitcoin's going down. You know why? Recent Epstein files show that was a large investment through pedo rings. So yeah, it's going to drop. It's going to keep dropping. And, it's amazing how it came about. But I told them a long time ago, Bitcoin's going to Bitcoin's going to cause a lot of losers.
No,
Yeah.
some Japanese guy allegedly named Satoshi, don't know what else, full legal name, did this to bring down the bankers. Right. I mean, people really bought that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to bring down the bankers with an ethereal coin.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys. Do you think you're going to have people that are going to believe more in a digital coin that you can't see or touch, or fiat currency, or an actual metal? See, it goes up the scale, and as you get to the digital credits, that's going to have less faith. That's going to have the bottom tier of faith. Then you're going to have a piece of paper that certifies and his signatures. That's going to have some more faith. But when you get that hard asset in your hand and you're looking at the guy right next to you, he's ready to hand it over. You've got another hard asset in your hand. You're going to exchange for it. That's the true faith, because you don't need any faith. You're there face to face with hard assets. When you're dealing with the paperwork and currency, that's a transportation away from the hard asset. You don't even know if it's fucking there. The guy could be screwing you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when, if I was a Roman proletariat back then and my slave went down to the market to get the fresh meats and fish and olive oil and wines, that letter of credit that the slave took, how did they, that's one thing I haven't quite researched. How would they, okay, so Keith is, he's running the market and my slave comes down with a letter of credit from me. How does he know that? How did he know that letter of credit was worth anything? Did they have
Yeah,
a
exactly.
credit?
Because it's got fancy seals and stuff on it, and signature, and on a fancy piece of paper. You know, how well have all them fancy pieces of paper? How well did all those pieces of paper do at Enron, Eric? Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, really good.
You ever seen the
Tyco,
laundromat?
Enron, Adelphia.
You ever seen the laundromat?
Laundromat?
Yeah. It's the one
No, I
where
don't
they
think
show
so.
how they're signing. They're just sitting there in back room. Somebody signing somebody else's name on a sheet of paper. Paper after paper all day long. That's all they do is sign names. And it's not even their name.
Well, I guess we can do the same thing. It's all just a belief, faith-based system. So, I can be
Yeah.
the landowner, and I can also go to the market, and now I can wear a different hat and be the plebeian slave, and I can make my own letter of credit and take away what I need. See,
Yeah.
it's different hats. You don't have to be locked in one.
Well, let's do Tribes first. Tribe says cryptocurrencies are the distraction for the masses. The secret of blockchain is smart contracts. Okay, and then Hard Hat says, what is a smart contract? It's basically it's a blockchain based contract that it's automatically executed. In other words, when I've got my private site, the WordWise Warrior website, and I enter into a contract, it's done through my email account and will actually enter into the blockchain, and the nodes out there that capture that contract will keep it in eternity. But it's got it's just like your AI videos. It's going to have like a watermark on it. And basically what it is, it's that digital signature saying that it's a contract. So it's going to have this digital watermark on a contract, and those nodes are going to collect it, and you're bound by it. But see, with my website, if it's not a contract, then it can still go into the blockchain, but it's not converted to that contract with a signature. There's no signature. It remains private. So it can wiggle around into the search engines and stuff that I need when I'm doing my research, but it doesn't it doesn't enter into the blockchain, into those nodes. The nodes don't reach out and grab it because there's nothing there for it to grab. I hope that makes sense. Yes. Yep. That's what I was talking about with Bitcoin. There's a large investment in Bitcoin through certain people involved with an Epstein financial investment. There's another thing about that Epstein stuff is that it was a lot of it has to do with marketing, of course, obviously, but this happens to be with marketing human flesh in the form of contests, whether it be beauty contests or things like that, fashion shows. I believe Trump even had some, and this is going back as far as like 1991. That's fine. Yeah. The cryptocurrency is just a weak faith line thing, and then you got your paper contracts, and then you got your gold assets. And as the digital coin, the support is the blockchain, as Tribe was saying, and it's a smart contract. So it's going to have like a digital signature on it, just like your AI videos. So anytime it goes into that public blockchain, there's a bunch of nodes out there that grab onto that and keeps record of it. And that's how it gets its value. It sustains its value because there's actual electronic record of it that can then be printed out later on. And if you're entering into that blockchain without that digital signature, because you're not performing some kind of contract and it's coming from a private site, then there's no nodes out there that are going to catch on to it. So if you're using a public site that's got a contract, any information you throw out there, those nodes are going to catch it because there's a public contract with digital signature, and you're entering material in with that digital signature. Whereas if you've got a private site, there's no digital signature. You can put that information out there, go through, do your searching, and no nodes are going to collect it because it has no value to them. There's no digital signature. So anyway, I've been running 53 minutes and no one else ready to come up. We'll shut it down. I want to thank everybody for stopping by and joining me. If you want to jump up on panel and keep the conversation going, let me know quick. Otherwise, I'm going to take a break real quick. Enjoy what I got coming up. Let me see here. Where is it? Let me get this up here. And then I'm going to go hit a break real quick, get me something to drink, and I'll be right back. This is why I do this, folks. This is why I do this. Freedom Flame Burns On. It's a tribute to Paul Revere, my American hero. Oops, let me do this.
Beneath the pines where the red clay cries, a preacher's words cut through the lies. With a Bible worn and a rifle tight, we march where the tyrant's shadow bites. Oh, freedom's flame burns through the night, a rebel yell for the righteous fight. Break the chains, let the truth be sworn. From dust and blood, a new dawn's born. The widow sows seeds in her husband's field. Her tears baptize the ground they'll yield. A soldier's ghost hums an old hymn's tune. We'll cross that river for the blood dark moon. Oh, freedom's flame burns through the night. A rebel yell for the righteous fight. Break the chains, let the truth be sworn. From dust and blood, a new dawn's born. When the thunder roars and the levee breaks, we'll plant our flag where the despot shakes. Through fire and flood, we'll hold the line. For peace ain't bought, lest we dare to climb. Oh, freedom's flame burns through the night. A rebel yell for the righteous fight. Break the chains, let the truth be sworn. From dust and blood, a new dawn's born.
The panel verse is full of scarlet letter ladies of the night. They embroider their tragedy like a price tag, begging the world to stare. They mistake their degradation for fame, dancing in the spotlight of their own misery. I don't have to force them to the street, and I just charge them rent for the stage. I am simply the broker, collecting a tax on their tears. Welcome to another Personality Inventory Mockumentary Production!
Okay. Thank you for waiting for me. What steps should one work for the USPS to get remedy from taxes? You don't get remedy for taxes from USPS. You get remedy from taxes from the IRS. Ask them what their claim is. See, they can't make a claim against you as a man, a biological being. They can only make a claim against a record, which is an entity that represents the biological being in person. So the person is the one that owes the taxes, the record itself. An individual's name and social security number identify the record. The social security number itself is a tax identifying number, taxpayer identification number, and it belongs to the person, not the living soul. All of this is going to be a matter of learning the language. The language is the barrier. Okay. So anyway, with that, I'm going to end it. I want to thank everybody for joining. Appreciate you all. Just remember,
Man up, slaves, and hit those buttons, or I'll send ice.
make sure legal. Make sure you're here appropriately. Make sure you're doing things right. And the man won't come after you. You guys know me. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back or not. That's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. That part's on you. So may God bless you and have a good night.